Hello, what's up everyone? How is everyone doing? Welcome back to another live stream. I hope you guys had a great week of trading. Yeah. So today I'm going to look at the market. So today's stream, the main purpose is to do the weekly analysis, prepare or look for maybe some opportunities for next week. Review as well what happened during the previous week. Follow up from my previous analysis, from my previous live streams, and we will from there. If you guys are new, so yeah, my name is Pedro, and yeah, I'm a Forex trader, I'm a mentor, and I've been doing this for quite a while, almost 10 years. And yeah, my main purpose with these live streams is to share educational content with all of you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Even if you are not watching the stream live, you can still ask the questions in the comment section, and I will take a look at it, and most likely I'll go back to you during the next stream. So come along. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do it and share with everyone that you may think that it may be valuable information and that you can learn from the streams. So yeah, thank you for taking the time for watching and for joining the channel. So what happened last week? It was a little bit of a sideways move overall. There wasn't that much momentum in the market. It maybe in some pairs, in some assets. So if you compare with where price was last week, so with 1 week ago, so for example, if we take a look at dollar index, it's one of the pairs that I always like to pay attention to, because it's going to give us an indication of what we may expect from the major FX pairs, and especially with the euro dollar. It's the one that I use the most in terms of to see the correlation or the inverse correlation. Yeah, usually I like to combine both of them, dollar index with euro dollar, but also even if you are taking a look at the analyzing dollar index, you can get a good idea of maybe what to expect from other pairs like Aussie dollar as well, maybe dollar CAD, dollar New Zealand, even pound dollar as well, even though those pairs are a little bit less correlated. But when you do have all that correlation and kind of dollar is going up and all the rest is going down, it's always valuable information to pay attention to when you're analyzing this the dollar index pair. So as you can see, basically this is where we started, or this is basically where the week started, or it finished previous week. So we kind of Monday we were around this area, or even here, somewhere in here. And it was basically just a indecision week. I eventually draw this kind of two trend lines in here, and eventually I started noticing that price was just bouncing in between them. Sometimes it looked like it had some momentum to go to downside, for example, as you can see in here during in this candle. I think this happened during the while the Fed chairman, Mr. Paul, was speaking in front of Congress and answering all those questions that the governors were asking. That happened on Wednesday and Thursday in the afternoon, UK time, and you can see that there was some kind of momentum around that period. However, price just bounced back where it came from, and it continued to do basically the same. And you can see all these indecision candles in here, all these kind of dodgy ones, without price going really anywhere, or gaining momentum to even go even to the break side or to the downside. But yeah, the price, it was here, somewhere in here. I mentioned that, yeah, it would be interesting to see if this supply zone would be respected. It's also aligned with this left shoulder here on the left side. So basically that was a move to be maybe a possible trade to be taken in there. I think this was still Friday. I think this was still, yeah, this was still Friday, and then this is when the weekend started. the week started. Yeah. However, we haven't even broken these lows from previous week, so it was definitely a candle that it stayed within the previous candle. Even if you take a look at the weekly chart, you can see what I mean. It's basically you have this rect candle in here, but it stayed basically within this level in here this previous week, almost at around the same body of the candle. So nothing much happened or changed. We have been still going from all this move to the upside. In terms of macroeconomic news, there wasn't much that happened aside from that speech on those 2 days in Congress from Paul. There was the CPI in the UK. It's in alignment with what was expected. The Bank of England still expects the double digits on UK inflation maybe in October or something like that, or by October. But yeah, aside from that, nothing much. Next week is going to be as well almost a non-event week. Not that many big news going on. Even the NFP is not going to be next Friday, even though it's the 1st of July. It's going to be the Friday after that. So, but hopefully we are going to see some momentum. We are going to finally break through this this kind of channel. Let's see towards which direction. I could see personally in the bigger picture, I could still see more move to the upside, as I've been mentioning on dollar index. So price is actually reacting from this level. Let's see if it breaks a little bit above, but actually my favorite zone is it's going to be maybe somewhere closer to this zone in here. Give me a second. Yeah, closer to this level in here. It will be kind of my favorite, around 110. But price can easily react from here and go a little bit farther down from where it is right now. Something that got my attention and that I liked is that we start having a little bit of weakness, or not weakness, but you can see that we start having some highs that can be used to attract liquidity. And because we start having those highs, we can start having maybe those bigger reversals, because there's a ways to start accumulating liquidity above this high, and even out the move that we have in here. It's a way to start accumulating liquidity maybe for a deeper retrace. Like if we just have one high created, or if you didn't have any high even created kind of on the left side, it's hard to even start filling out the orders that you wanted to just in here. That's why I like to start seeing multiple highs close to each other, kind of to start, because anytime you have a high, then you have maybe potential zones for people to start selling at this double top, which is going to start attract liquidity above it. And then it depends as well what we do with this flow. Kind of, you can see that this flow actually broke this one. I don't know if it really reached this next level of this zone in here or not. It stayed a little bit above, so kind of didn't really went there. But yeah, when you start having these zones in here, this is when you start having that possible reversals. And then of course, whatever our price is behaving within this level, that can be also interesting, which is what we are having in here, right? So all this behavior, all these highs accumulated in here, that's a really nice behavior as well. We did a strong move to downside 2 weeks ago, and now we do have this reaction from here. So there's a potential for price to go down. First, we can have maybe around still with this demand zone in here, so price could feel actually this range. Could easily still feel this range in here. There's maybe still a potential for price even to react from somewhere closer to these highs. There is that potential, that possibility as well. Price could kind of break it and still kind of respect this and go a little bit further down. But let's see how price reacts when it gets closer to this demand zone. And eventually in here as well could be one of the targets as well. In a much bigger move. I think I mentioned in one of the previous videos, maybe 2 weeks ago, something like that, when I did it, that we do have this triple top, this triple bottom, which can be a really nice zone for the future. I'm not sure if price is going to go all the way from where it is all the way back to these lows yet, but let's see. So I do have a few zones still a little bit above that I would like to see in a higher time frame level for price eventually to get there. However, in a lower time frame, I wouldn't be surprised if actually we play a little bit more within this range, or even considering these lows somewhere in here. So we could definitely go a little bit lower, then kind of come somewhere close to here, and then maybe fill this on. Yeah, but definitely let's move away from this triangle in here. Usually when you have something like this, it's expected to have some momentum when we break through, either to the upside or to the downside. I don't really pay attention to this kind of price patterns. I don't even know what is the probability if this is actually for price to shoot to the upside because we are coming from this bullish move, or if price can just easily as well just go down. What we usually see is that there's momentum, right? Usually there's a momentum when price breaks through, because basically, as you can see, even with the concept of compression, basically price has been taking out the orders just above it, the same thing underneath it. So expecting then price to eventually to have some momentum to the downside. Yeah, so maybe this money in here, I don't know if this will actually touch this one. There's maybe some touch in here, but yeah, let's see. We do have a line between zone in here, so let's see how price behaves, what price will do around it. Let's see as well the approach. Like, there's no need to even look for that long if the approach is not even if the approach doesn't even show any weakness. Maybe price just wants to go a little bit further down. And for me personally, I still think that we have space until this next zone in here. I don't think this will really got reacted from where kind of it should. It was a really nice zone. I mentioned when price reacted from there, I did identify this demand zone that was underneath this above all on the lower time frame. And we had this zone in here as well. So it was actually a nice reaction from there in a moment, but in a bigger picture, I can see space to the downside and for price to get even closer to these levels. So yeah, let's see, or let's see if price eventually does this and eventually goes and continues to the upside. Yeah. So yeah, indecision in here on dollar index. Before I go to check the euro and so on, something that actually changed. So in some markets, for example on Forex, you could see some indecision across many pairs, especially the ones related to dollar index. However, in another markets, there was some kind of change, a little bit of a change into what has been happening during these last months. So for example, on the indices, we can see some relief to the upside. We can see this retrace upwards, which also is aligned a little bit with the move to the upside on the crypto space. So we did react a little bit to the upside. On Nasdaq, actually, I even prefer where the lows reacted from on Nasdaq, because we had this demand zone in here. Can you work? We do have this demand zone in here that was even visible on the daily and weekly and so on. Yep, you see we do have this demand quite nicely. We actually have this trend line as well. It's basically kind of respecting anytime it gets close to it and price moves to the upside. Actually, I have this one as well, and the upside price is getting close to that zone. But yeah, I don't really give that much importance to the trend lines, but it's something that I've started kind of using just to use it as a confluence. And eventually I want to see them be broken, to be faked out, and then price to resume where it was coming from. Yes, so we reacted from that demand. There was actually a really nice opportunity to go look for the long in here on Friday. And there's an opportunity that I actually mentioned with some of the guys. Similar to And this is the point that I want to make, and that's why I was already starting to see the potential or the possibility for actually this deeper retrace to the upside, similar to what I just mentioned on $1 index, and similar to what I mentioned in my last video on the crypto, on Bitcoin and Ethereum, is that we start having these lows, right? Just the same thing that I've been mentioned before. We start having these lows. I just changed for the 1 hour time frame. Yeah, so even if you take a look at what we have in here, we start having these lows in here, nice lows. We do have this engulf up actually, something that actually got my attention. We do break this compression to the upside, and we didn't really react to this supply zone in here. So there is space in here for price to fill. It's something that I like to pay attention to. So pay attention to that engulf up. That doesn't really fill the space that is available until the next zone, like we have in this case. So that's one point. Then price spiked in here. There was some news last week or something like, not last week, 2 weeks ago. Price went all the way down, and of course we have these lows in here, and this is something that you usually see, is price going down. Eventually break those highs, and it doesn't really get to the next level, so we do have that space. But then price, instead of just respecting this high, this low where it came from, and do this, no, what price will do is still, it's going to fake out this low one more time, and then yes, and then it's going to go and move to the upside. And that's basically what we have in here. We do have this behavior, and especially when you have such an important demand just underneath that zone, right? So this was still the space until we touched that demand visible on the daily, weekly, monthly time frame that I just mentioned. So this is what we have. And aside from that, okay, we have these lows. We can see that these lows kind of look like it's being respected in the moment in here. So it's going to even attract more buyers towards it. And actually it was a kind of a nice cozy one in there. But what happens is we have that fake out. Beautiful zone to accumulate liquidity underneath this level, especially after the break to the upside. And there you go. After this, we do have this pattern. So after the break of this size in here, we could start looking for the bones, even more confirmed after the break of this zone in here. And this is exactly kind of the pattern that the zone, the price action that I like to look for when looking for entries. If we go down to the 15 minutes time frame, I think I mentioned this last time, but let me just repeat it. So now we do create this lows in here. And so we have this low in here. We have this demand in here that was left behind. We have all these lows. Here, and they kind of left space behind towards its demand, and we indeed break these highs now. So there's that engulf showing that price wants to go higher, and even further, and even after that as well. So price come all the way down, it respects this demand zone, it even creates a new higher high, and then yes, and then we do have that that reaction towards the demand zone that it was left behind it here. So this is a beautiful zone for entry, or if you want to wait for confirmation, you can just basically wait to see where is that kind of vast supply zone that creates this move to the downside. Wait for that high to be broken, and then most likely you either come all the way back here and respect this new demand zone in here and go higher, or you can just react from the base of it and you can carry on and move to the upside. So basically the same PA that we have in here, it's almost the same that we had now on crypto, close to the lows. On Ethereum and Bitcoin, kind of close to the lows, a little bit different, but it's kind of the same, and it keeps repeating itself. And from there, yes, from there you can go. First zone first space that you want to see being filled is meet with this one. So the first zone that you want to see being filled is going to be all the way until here. Second. Yeah, so this one of those highs kind of after the break of this, and this could be the next zone. We do have now this origin in here, this supply in here that you can see. Price did react quite nicely from there, and it came all the way down just to react then from the next base of this kind of demand zone in there. But yeah, this is the first one, but because we actually had already made this engulf to the upside and price didn't really react from here, we can actually look for even a further target, a higher target. It doesn't need to be this anymore. This is no longer kind of the last zone. You can actually then try to look for the bigger picture and see where is the next zone. So all of a sudden we go from this rectangle to maybe this one in here, and that's how you can combine kind of multiple time frames, the different engulfs on the way through, like for to look for the different zones that price may want to go next. Of course, doesn't mean that price is going to go to this extreme. Pay attention to this level, important levels, previous support resistance that you may have in here, and that's maybe where price will go next. So yeah, so this was a nice level of price action that Nasdaq has been playing with. And again, the main reason that for me I was looking for the possibility that price would have this bigger reversal, it's already all these lows that are being created even before. Right, you start having these lows, not just this one, as well with this one in here. We start having that accumulation of lows even before then price reverses. So when we just see the first low being created, there's no need to feel FOMO or think that you just missed the move to the upside reversal, because most likely price still needs to create at least a new low to actually collect liquidity from these guys. This low here is created just to trap people into thinking that this is the zone, this is the bottom, and from here price go higher. Most likely price will still create a new one, and even maybe another one before actually have that reversal. So yeah, look for that accumulation of lows, look for that weakness from price, and then pay attention to what price is doing on approach. If it is breaking zones and not reacting towards the next ones, that's what you can see. So yes, big so this was one of the big moves from this week. So the reverse in the indices, a little bit of a move to the upside. Big picture, I'm still bearish. I still don't think this is the lower low, but it's a good zone to look for maybe a deeper retrace, at least maybe retest this previous zone in here. And after this, maybe we are going to have the continuation or the move to the upside. So this is my next zone of interest, or at least a barrier. If you are still long, be careful with this level in here. And yeah, let's see if price respects this level. The break of this high could be kind of important. It could kind of represent or show a deeper retrace to the upside. However, I wouldn't really like to see that, because I'm actually kind of still bearish in the overall, and I would prefer actually to see kind of this zone still to be kind of respected, and then eventually price to just resume to move to the downside. We do have this triple top in here. I kind of mentioned a little bit before that, even out this size as well. I do like this zone still. But yeah, playing zone by zone. First of all, let's see if price, how price behaves when it gets closer to this level. Personally, I wouldn't really like to see this already happening, just because it would open the door a little bit for price to go even higher. And yeah, I'm not really sure if that's the case. I'm still bearish. No longer time frame. The next few months, I'm still overall bearish on the market. I don't think this is the lower low. I can see definitely more of a move to the downside. at least testing that previous high from COVID, somewhere in here. Yeah, that's what I at least minimum from there, but let's see. So this was Nasdaq and the indices. Yeah, so dollar index as well, setting decision that we can see in there. So let's go now to the FX pairs. Let's take a look at euro dollar. Okay, guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comments. Even afterwards, if you have any questions, feel free to comment as well. If you are watching the reply, and thank you for watching. I appreciate it if you're spending your time. So yeah, if you want to get the most of it and you don't understand some parts of my explanations, if you want to go into more detail on some parts, feel free to give me your feedback and comment in the section below. So euro, yeah, I think we did open somewhere. We go to the 4 hour. Yeah, we were here close to this reacting from this demand as well, the same way that the S&P was kind of reacting from that supply. I kind of mentioned, I think I mentioned that this high in here didn't really reacted from this level, so I could see a little bit more of a move to the upside on euro, and it's kind of what this spike in here did. It got now. I think it reacted now from this week, from the low of this week in here. So kind of that move was done. We did now had this supply, price reacted already from there. We had this demand, prices went down, reacted from there as well. So again, similar to what happened on dollar index. Nothing much going on, even though it looks like price was gaining some momentum, price was just reacting from there and then retracing straight away. The same thing was going down, reacting and going higher. Bigger picture, I still kind of stay on the same page, which is this values in here from 2016-17. I would really like them to see being taken. We do have all this major level of previous support that can work or hold price down. Let's see, which is also kind of in alignment with these left shoulders in here. So yeah, we do have all this big compression now on the way up. There were some trades in here with confirmation that could have been taken after the break of this high. There is a possibility to go long. Give that space. Price then just retraced straight away. So price has been going up and down, collecting every supply and demand along the way. I'm not the biggest fan of trading in the middle of the zones. I prefer to look actually for kind of more like the extremes of it. So this kind of moves up and down like this, kind of in the middle. They are not my favorite. If you go into the lower time frame, they may look like they are at the extreme zones, but in the bigger picture, they're kind of in the middle for me. So it's not my favorite zones to look for trades. Even though if you pay attention, you can have those setups, those opportunities. They exist in here. Yeah. So overall, more of the same from last week as well. I still like this supply in here, this zone in here, this decision point above kind of this triple top. That could be a zone for price to go to. Is there a chance that this level in here as well is going to still hold price to the downside? Maybe. This move was created during the ECB press conference 3 weeks ago. Maybe. And overall, I'm still kind of... I still think, or I still would like to see first how these lows being taken before any major reverse to the upside on euro, and that may happen when if and when dollar index eventually is going to go a little bit higher, maybe closer to that 110 level. yeah, maybe somewhere close to that level. Yeah, so higher time frame view, zones to look for. Yeah, price just reacted from there. There's maybe something in here, and there is these levels in here that maybe price still is going to react from, and maybe push price down. In terms of any longs, how are we in terms of that? Is there anything in here? It's not the clearest one. Anything? We did collected these lows. It came all the way here. This guy collected this web shoulder within this demand zone. The same in here. So the same in here. This kind of looks compressed. So if prices eventually wants to turn, it may go in a fast move to downside. Maybe I'll just wait for that and let's see what's going to happen in here. When I don't really have proper zones, or maybe I have some zones that they are not my favorite, but some zones that I may see some reaction in there. Sometimes what I will be waiting for is to see the approach. If all of a sudden for example in here, if I'm interested in this zone in here that we have this triple top, if by any chance I start seeing price kind of creating some highs in there as well, or even breaking a low just before it, and then yes, then maybe that zone is going to even catch my attention even more. So then maybe look for that reversal. So yeah, sometimes the approach to the zone by itself can actually increase my interest in the zone that I may be looking at. So yeah, sometimes I like a zone a lot even before anything else, even before price gets to there. Some other times I may kind of identify a possible zone, but not my favorite. However, as price is approaching that zone, it starts creating a really nice approach and showing some weakness and kind of some kind of manipulation close to it. That eventually is going to catch my attention even more, and it's going to become from a medium zone to maybe an important level for me. So yeah, nothing really much in here. Is this origin still fresh in here? In there? 1 second. Should you expect some reaction in there? This one was touched. We didn't really broke the wall from here. We did respect it in here. Maybe. There's maybe some reaction to have from there. Somewhere in here. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen on Euro. It's not the... yeah. For me, it's still far away from my key levels of interest. Pound over. On the cable, basically more of the same. Price again, it was somewhere in here where it closed last week, and now it was kind of just again moving from the extremes to extremes. This was kind of a supply and 1 hour time frame or 4 hour. Yep, there's this level in here, price reacted from there, came all the way down, it even broke a little bit of this wall, and then it kind of reacted above from this level. It's taking these orders along the way. So it was another sideways move. If you guys like to trade in the ranging markets, there are opportunities in there just to ping pong between catching highs and lows. For me, similar to euro. This is kind of far away from kind of the extremes. Maybe this next level in there, closer to this highs. In here, maybe. I think there's still more room to the upside. Honestly, I don't think this high has reacted, or it came closer to the final move up. However, that doesn't mean that price will react from here and go higher from there. It can easily just actually still go down, react from something else, and then go higher. Yeah, I think there's maybe a possibility to fake out eventually how this was in here and get closer to these levels in there, and then maybe carry on and move to the upside. I think I mentioned a few times as well that I do like now where this low reacted from, so I'm okay with where this low is reacting from. We had out this previous level support. We had that fake out during COVID, move up. This low never really got closer to this level of support in there. Even this week, beautiful, it reacted from there. That's exactly where this low reacted from. So I'm okay. I'm okay now where this low reacted from. I could see now potential move to the upside. Yeah, pay attention to these left shoulders. Maybe there's some possible kind of trades thing that can align with this level, with this left shoulder. Oh, yeah. Let's see how these spikes was during some news events last 2 weeks ago. Interest rate decision, I think, of the Bank of England, and before that it was on the Fed. There's maybe something in there at the lows. I think on the daily time frame. No, not daily. 4 hour maybe. Yeah, on the 4 hour you may have this level in here. It can be interesting. Underneath this of these lows. It could be a good zone to look for longs somewhere in here. Yeah, that could be a good zone. Maybe to look for longs on cable. Whenever price wants to get there. Yeah, that could be a good zone to look for the longs, especially if we still have space for price to fill. In my opinion, this is also kind of a beginning of an engulf to the upside and the break of these highs, because we did break this high here on the left side. And here higher time frame high, so for me this is already kind of an engulf up. Let's see. Interesting. Yeah, this for me is an engulf up, even though we still have this supply zone in there. I mentioned quite a few times as well, we do have still kind of this supply because this size never really took the order from there. However, I can see price going higher now. Eventually in the future, when it's ready to go, I could see price going higher. This for me is an indication already that pound is maybe about to reverse. Let's see. We do have this left shoulder. We do have the other one that we picked out. Price kind of is reacting from this now. Let's see. And eventually we still have this zone in here closer to the lows. Yep. So that's cable. Again, we do have all this previous level of support in here. We have this supply somewhere in there. So, and we already have now this high to attract sellers underneath it. So that could be a good zone maybe to just take some orders from there. If by any chance we still even create kind of a double top in here. For example, if price does this, just remove all of this. If we do create now this zone in here, if we go higher, or even from underneath it, but whatever, when we go higher in here and we kind of create a double top in there, price pretend that it goes down, then if we do have something like this, that could be an option to maybe look for sales. Yeah, so all these highs will start attracting sellers within there, leaving this zone in here that is still fresh. I'll even align with this one above. Yeah, somewhere in there. Somewhere in here, it will be maybe a good level to look for sales. Especially if you do create this about top in here and price starts showing some weakness in here, just for a small spike, take the orders and move to the downside. Yeah, let's see what's going to happen in there. Next, something that finally happened that we have been talking about as well, it was the dollar franc Swiss. So on the dollar franc Swiss, yep, even when we had these lows in here, I mentioned that these guys in here didn't really reach the final target. I don't even think these guys have reached it yet. I can see price going further down. Maybe at least close to this level in here. This is actually kind of one of my favorites for the moment. There's maybe something here. But yeah, this one in here, actually, it looks nice. These walls in here never really came all the way back closer to this level to take the orders. So it looks nice to me. This previous one that I mentioned, around this high, we already had all these spikes in here, so kind of the zone is weaker now. Weaker. Yeah. This one in here, there's maybe still some space in here for price to kind of bounce and go higher. But yeah, what I have seen was that these lows in here didn't really reach final target. So yeah, they look for sales, and there was a potential to catch out this move to downside. And yeah, this week actually this was one of the trades to be taken after the move down. We did have this supply. I did miss this this sell. Ridiculous enough, but I did miss it. I did place my order again with too much perfection. I just placed it when I saw this was being broken. I did place my order again around this level, and these guys never really got there. So I did miss this move. Yeah, nice reaction from this supply in here. And I was still biased to look for more moves to the downside, so it was actually a great place to look for the sell. Even on the 30 minutes, as you can see, it was quite a great zone to look for. I have all this zone in here, important level. We do break these lows as well. We took the orders from this demand, so this demand become now weaker in here. There's some more orders in there, so eventually price filled. This was kind of so there were two zones on this move up that could still sustain price, which was kind of this demand in here, and it was this demand in here. And you can see that price reacted exactly from both levels. But the momentum, it was to go down and to take these lows. We have done that now, last Friday, but I think there's still possible momentum more to the downside on the dollar franc Swiss. Yeah, being this level maybe a good zone to look for. Personally, I think this could be my target. If by any chance you are long, you are short from those highs, closer to these lows, it will be kind of the final target, and after that I'll be looking for longs. There's potential for price to come all the way here and still continue to look for sales in there above this high, or even price can just respect this level as well and continue to look for more sales. Let's see what's going to happen now on our franc Swiss. Yeah, that's the key zone for me. I still see more move to downside in the end until price gets to closer to this zone in here. Let's see, price may start to look to kind of compress on the way down. That can be an option. Start compressing. Yeah, start maybe compressing more until eventually gets there. Yep, let's see what's going to happen. Any chance can go closer to this highs? Maybe. Let me see the 4-hour time frame. Maybe. Yes, this was a key aim to the upside. It respected now as to the downside. Yep, maybe. Yeah, that was one of the pairs that we've been following as well. So instead, Aussie dollar, it's more of the same. It's still moving close to these lows in here. Personally, if I haven't mentioned this on my channel, I would like to see price getting closer to this level. For me, how this kind of is compressed, so eventually to take these lows and to get closer to here. So take kind of these lows from 0.77, sorry, 0.774 kind of, and maybe eventually come all the way down to 0.671, sorry. That eventually, that's where I'll be looking for. Price is respecting these lows, but it's getting weaker and weaker. Let's see if eventually breaks it. Yeah, eventually I'm still kind of bearish in here. Let's see what's going to happen on the dollar, on the Aussie dollar. Is there any sells in here to be taken? Yeah, price reacted really nicely from this origin in here, from this low. After the break of this, we could have kind of looked for that long. Yeah, next target maybe somewhere around here could be an option. Did broke this one to the upside already. Did he react it straight away from here? Maybe not. Let's see. Let's see if price respects this level. It continues to the downside or not. Or if it goes higher. We are starting to break these highs on the way up. On the way down, sorry, price is kind of breaking these highs and then continue to go down. That for me is kind of showing some moves on the way down. It's nice to see. Maybe then eventually to have that big reversal to the upside. However, the question becomes, is this low already reacting from the final target to the sellers? And for me personally, it isn't. I wouldn't be looking for this level as a target. I would be looking more closer to this zone in here. That's why I'm still kind of bearish in here, even though I'm paying attention to these breaks to the upside on the way down. It's something that I look at, and then maybe eventually from here there is that potential to go and fill out this zone at least until this next level in here. Let's see what is going to happen on the weekly. Yeah, this one looks nice as well on the weekly time frame. We have this week in here. We do have this level. Yeah, let's see. Let's see on the Aussie. Yep, let's see. So next we go to dollar yen. So dollar yen had to add some relief to the downside after being moving upwards in these previous 2 weeks. So it basically opened close to this low, so you're close to this high, so you're around here, and we did have that move to the upside. I had this supply level already drawn. You can see on the daily and weekly time frame. I've been going and showing this level for quite a while. There's a base of a week in there. Where are we? Sorry. Back in 1998, so we are 24 years ago. That's where we're retesting to. So it was the base of this week here, and we do have all these highs above. Eventually, a little bit similar to the dollar index. I'm still kind of bullish on yen. Bank of Japan hasn't done anything yet as well. Hasn't taken any measures to try to fight the weakness on the yen pairs, on the yen. And eventually, I do like this level. I've been mentioning already 139 something, like anything above this week. But where maybe I can see a bigger reversal to the downside. Eventually, this one in here, but I could see price first reacting from here and having that major return to the downside. So this level, okay, it's a daily zone. Anytime you see actually price getting close to those daily levels, usually you have some kind of reaction. Is there more move to the downside from here? Let me take a look at the daily. We have maybe this level as a barrier in here. We did broke this week, which can be interesting. After the break of this, well, there was the potential to go and fill this range in here. So that was a good trade to take during this week. I hope you guys that did it. And yeah, so that was to fill it there. After the break of this, there's maybe now the potential to move further down. We had out this big move in here. This was during some big news event as well, and this is when the Bank of Japan decided to not do anything. And we had all this big move up and down, kind of price collected the orders from this demand towards the supply, and eventually now decide to go higher. This is kind of compressed in here. With this low in here, I could see maybe price going further down. There's a potential for price to go a little bit further down. Maybe even refill kind of a little bit more to downside. So yeah, personally, I think this may be an engulf down, and there's maybe more potential for the end to go down. Yeah, we already respected now this low in here. We are reacting from this supply level in there, inside here. Price decided to create all these highs in there, which may be interesting to see maybe if this is a zone for price to look for shorts. Check for our time frame. Maybe delete this. Maybe somewhere in here, a good zone to look for price. You have kind of maybe this supply first. Go there, can bounce from here. You have this supply that most likely is going to be ignored, so it's a good zone for price to react from. Let's pretend that this guy is still being respected, and maybe then I have that small spike and price can go down. This could be a good zone for me. Actually, I think this guy in here is kind of an engulf to the downside, and price can actually go down from there. First we have the supply, let's see how price reacts from there, but eventually we could have that deeper trace that we haven't had yet. So this deep retracing here to get close to the highs and then maybe continue to downside. We haven't had that yet. So that can happen somewhere in here. Let's see how price moves higher. Yeah, let's see. But yeah, I could see this one as an engulf to downside. Next zone. This one may be interesting. Mentioned without these previous walls in here, we had kind of this decision in there as well. And this is where kind of have this weekend here from the move during the news. Can be interesting. But yeah, maybe somewhere in here can be a nice zone to look for the sell. I think I was already waiting for that zone when price was decided to respect respect these highs. Actually, I was waiting for a little bit more of a deeper retrace and then to look for that short. When we had the break of this wall that I just mentioned, kind of the break of this wall opened the space for price to fill this zone. But I was indeed waiting for price to have a little bit of a deeper retrace towards this zone in here, and then yes, to look for the sell. Price decided just to keep respecting this level, so I didn't really add my entry in there. But let's see, this can be interesting. That zone in there, expecting this deep retrace and then go higher. Nevertheless, I'm still expecting eventually for price to go and move higher from there. But it's something to be paying attention to. How price is going to approach these highs, and if there's any kind of good price action in there, there's a potential to look for that sell. Your first target is not going to be or expecting price to go just straight away towards this level. Your first target will always be the next level of structure that you have, the opposite level of structure that you have. In this case, whatever it is, kind of those lows, the next lows that you may have, find that space in there first, take that trade, look for a good risk reward in there, and then yes, and then if price does break those lows, maybe then there's that potential for price to start filling out this space to downside, and eventually even filling a little bit further below that. Okay, so manage your expectations even when price eventually gets there. But yeah, so that was dollar yen. Euro yen, for example, price went all the way up. It kind of respected. Now we do have this double top. Again, a little bit similar to what I mentioned before. Price does break these lows, and instead of respecting straight away this high in here and go down, price instead of that does indeed creates a new fake out of these highs before actually the move to the downside. We do break these lows again, and similar to dollar yen. We have all this compression now in here. Again, it's an engulf down, opposite to dollar yen. We actually reacted now from this nice level of support resistance on the left side. It was kind of this, can you see this KM zone in here with this wick? This left shoulder, kind of price should have respected and gone down. That didn't happen. Now it's respected in here, almost aligned to the pip with this left shoulder. So it's a nice thing to see. Price is going higher again. Personally, looking at the bigger picture, I still see price going a little bit higher. Prices, those highs are reacting from here, and I would like to see price kind of getting a little bit closer to this level, or eventually even somewhere in here, and we still have that zone as well, a little bit above it. But yeah, this level or that level would be kind of a zone that I would like to see price going to. It's nice actually that we have this double top. It's a nice way to bring more sellers into euro yen around close to the highs, just accumulating liquidity actually into the nice zone that we have in here, a little bit above it. So yeah, be patient, and eventually we are going to see these guys being faked out, and you may have that move to the downside. Let's see when that happens. On your yen, just be cautious. I don't like that zone a little bit above it. Yeah, perfect. So that is that as well. On Euro Yen, if you guys have any specific pair that you want me to look at, feel free to comment below. If you have your analysis that you would like me to review, that's the main goal of the webinar that I do on Tuesdays. So it's more focused on educational and any specific topic that you want to cover, or to review your analysis or setups, to give you my feedback, and maybe you can all learn from each other's, which is nice. I think that's a good idea. That's why I'm doing it. Yeah, and today is a little bit more focused on maybe looking for what happened and possible opportunities for the week ahead, and maybe some levels that I'm paying attention to. Yeah, so aside from all this that I've been mentioning, we also take a look at CAD. So let's take a look at the USD CAD. We did broke a little bit this sign here, even though we are still reacting from that major, from this supply zone in there. So even though we broke the highs, didn't really broke the overall zone on the left side. So yep. However, I did pay attention to kind of this break of these lows in here even before you get there. So I wouldn't be surprised if actually whenever price is maybe ready to bounce to the upside, it's going to be below these levels in here. This is a way that I try to define my targets. Find those lows that broke something on the left side. Maybe even this origin can be still even interesting to look for maybe an entry. Or just look for the next one underneath it. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. The way USD CAD has been moving, it has been it's going with deep retracements. As you can see, kind of go higher, go all the way back, then go higher, even here before, go up, down, like how it's deep retraces to the highs and the lows. So yeah, maybe that's something that we're going to see happening again. Are you expecting to see price going all the way here? I do like this level as well, which kind of opens the door for price to go a little bit further down. Let's see, but yeah, I do like this one. What I just mentioned before happening here as well. This 4-hour time frame. Yeah, interesting. So yeah, we did have this supply zone, as you can see on the daily. Price went down, came all the way back, retest this level, and now we are at this demand zone in there. I could see price going a little bit below that. Eventually, I actually still like even a zone above it. Yep. Yeah, price is respecting this level. Yeah, somewhere even below it can be interesting. This can be a nice zone as well for price maybe to react and come and react from there again. Take the orders from there. Yeah, let's see what's next. At this demand, this zone, I could see price just continue moving to the downside. Yeah, can continue and move. Is there anything somewhere in here? Somewhere in there. Let's see if this extreme, if this was managed to hold price or not. Let's see. There's potential for price to go a little bit further down. If by any chance price retraces up, this level in here can be interesting to look for. Let's see. Let's see where this wall came from. This wall is reacting from this Quasimodo level in there, but we still have kind of this one still fresh in here. Eventually we still even have this guy in here as well. There's even the potential for price even come all the way down, even take these guys away and reverse and go higher. There's even that potential that can happen on cards. Yeah, there is that possibility. Yeah, basically that's it for the FX pairs. I'll just continue to follow up a little bit with crypto because it has been something that I've been talking about as well in the previous live streams. So as I've been mentioning, so this is Bitcoin. Yeah, the retrace. I mentioned that was one of the first times that I actually could see some move to the upside. I mentioned that last Tuesday. I even finished my previous weekly live stream last Saturday, exactly mentioning that zone on Ethereum that price could kind of take those lows and reverse. It's exactly how I finished my previous live stream, mentioning the possibility of taking these lows in here. For me, how this was compressed, take the lows and go higher. And then let's see if we do break these highs in here. Just maybe open the door a little bit for move to the upside. Eventually, as I mentioned before as well, I do like still this 750, 760 level. I still don't think this is the lower low in the bigger picture, in the higher time frame. But for now, I could see price retracing from here. Yeah, getting close to this level. So this was the spice that I wanted to see being filled. I think I mentioned that as well last Tuesday. This was kind of the spice that I mentioned that I wanted to see being filled. And if by any chance I actually want to see price eventually even maybe respecting these lows in here, would be the possibility of seeing price going a little bit above it, maybe actually taking these highs in here. There's maybe this one that could work, or eventually this one in here as well. That could work after the break of these highs and price go higher. Let me just change the time frame just to make it a little bit more clear on the bigger picture. Yeah, so this is kind of my final target, or not final target, but possible zone of key importance zone from here. So this, yes, this could be the final target. And now it will be to wait and see if by any chance we do break this level or not. If we break this level, kind of opens me the door. Price kind of opens the door that it wants to go maybe a little bit higher. And we do have all these lows that can be used now eventually for price to retrace. Let's make that work. Not so much. 1 second. Let's retrace, react from there, take this low, which is kind of interesting zone in here. Price retrace, and now take the orders from this close, maybe into this maybe demand zone that's somewhere in here, and maybe from now you can go higher. And go higher, maybe towards this level. Break this high in here. If you don't even break this high, and if you actually respect it, if your price just now starts moving lower, maybe I'll be paying attention or more careful with any longs maybe from here. Because what it would mean for me is that we just reacted now from like. Because my target for these longs from here, it's this level. So if the target is met and is respected, I'll be cautious then on looking for longs at these lows. If this target is broken to the upside, that kind of opens the door for the future, which means that now from these lows, I'll be looking for price to kind of collect these orders and try to push through to the next target. which is maybe this level or even above here, and retesting this previous 1700 level on Ethereum, which is a similar story on Bitcoin. So this is the way I'm looking at, this is the way I'm thinking about it. It's basically find your target on the scale that you are looking at. Okay, find your target when you see that price is kind of shifting from kind of bearish to bullish. Find your target somewhere in here, right? And then see what happens when price gets there. Does price actually kind of respects it? If it respects it and then goes all the way down, maybe this zone in here is no longer going to hold price up. If the opposite happens, if actually price comes all the way here, kind of respects it a little bit, but then we do have that break to the upside, then we can actually have then the retrace. But this alone is going to kind of maybe open the door for price to go to the next one, and that's what I'm paying attention to right now, around this level. That's what I'm paying attention to, because now when price eventually comes all the way back here, maybe I'll be looking then for those longs somewhere in here. Especially because we kind of have this these lows in here. They've been holding price, so it will be a nice zone to take these guys, take these stop losses from these guys, and then maybe go higher. And don't forget that we still have this demand zone in here. I showed that specific zone on my previous live stream on Tuesday. How Bitcoin and Ethereum reacted from this at around these lows on our time frame, and the difference between the both of them. What was the difference in them, and maybe where I'm expecting maybe price to react from in the time frame in there when it eventually goes there. Yeah, I explained that on my previous live stream. You can take a look at it. By the end of it, it was at the end of my previous live stream on Tuesday. But yeah, this is what I'm paying attention to on Ethereum. Pay attention to how price behaves in here. I do have this low in here on this time frame. Look at that. I do have this low. If this low is indeed broken, maybe we can have that trade, right? So now we want to pay attention that we cannot have now this trend line in here. Actually, we start having this trend line, and this can be actually now start to become a nice zone for that sell. Let's see how price behaves in here. If we do break this level, next zone of course it's going to be this next demand zone in here, and we can start seeing if price by any chance breaks this level and goes higher without touching here. This can be a really nice zone for the sell in here, and then you're going to be you want to start paying attention to how price behaves in here. Does price respect its demand or not? If price by any chance breaks it, there you go. There's maybe now the potential for price actually to fill out this price and go at least maybe all the way until here, and just fill out this price in here and come all the way here. So this is something that you want to pay attention to. Follow the next previous zone, which is kind of this demand from this week. Definitely that this week should have respected this level and then went higher, but this week left this price behind, so there's price in there. So that's actually a nice zone and a nice setup now here for maybe sells in here just towards this level. And aside from that, be careful and pay attention to how exactly price is going to react from this demand zone. With the potential that if price actually wants to in the future go higher, I would expect this level to be, I would be expecting this zone in here to be taken. All this size in here. Yeah. In this moment, that's maybe actually a nice zone to for a sell in there. React from this size and look for the sell with the target even in here. First target in here with the potential then to fill out this price to the downside. That's the way I'm looking at it. There's actually a nice distinction between what Bitcoin and Ethereum are doing, or the levels that they are respecting. Another one. So the first one was actually close to these lows. How did price move away from there? And another one is actually this one. Let me just clean this now. So as you can see, Ethereum came all the way and is now reacting from this originate here from the supply, right? And Bitcoin is still kind of reacting, unless something changed in the last hour. Bitcoin is still kind of reacting from this side here, so it hasn't filled this space in here. Okay, so Bitcoin, this size that we are looking at, is still reacting from this one, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just go and check Bitcoin. Yep, there you go. Right, so as you can see, it's still reacting out from this level. And this is actually something interesting to see. And the reason for that, at least for me, is that, 1 second, let me grab, not this one then. Second. Let me bring them a little bit more to the left side. So, yes, so Ethereum, right? Ethereum is reacting from this one in here now, right? From these guys. Bitcoin is just reacting from here. But what we also have on Bitcoin is that Bitcoin broke this highs in here. And this for me is actually when it goes to the upside. It kind of shows that price should come all the way and respect this level next. But no, price is just, Bitcoin is just respecting actually this supply in here. Did it break this low? Yeah, it broke this low. So this can be kind of an engulf to downside actually. And for now, we are respecting this level. However, while Ethereum is respecting this level, and if I'm expecting price to go higher, I would like to see Ethereum to still break these highs. In this case, on Bitcoin, we already broke this one, this mid level in here, and never get close to this level. So for me, actually, price wants to go higher. And in that sense, what I want to say is Bitcoin has already given me an indication that it wants to go higher, and it didn't really fill the next space, while Ethereum has respected the next space, and it hasn't given me now the indication that it wants to go higher because it's still respecting this space, which can be tricky. But it actually can give us enough information that maybe from these lows in here, there's maybe the potential for price actually to react from here and go higher. Maybe because of that, we could see that actually respecting as well, those lows being respected as well on Ethereum. And then price to go higher from there as well. So that's actually what I'm paying attention to. Bitcoin for now wants to go higher. Ethereum for now kind of reached its final target. And this is the two different scenarios that I'm looking at on both of them. We kind of have this compression. Maybe next zone, if we do break this low, maybe all the way back to this zone. Maybe at least all the way back to this demand zone that is so fresh. We do have all this compression kind of. Oops. So we do have this price in here. We just have this level, but as I said, just as I mentioned before, we do have this break to downside in here. And eventually do like this level as kind of a final target maybe for the sales. It's potential to fill out this level. It depends how price eventually is going to react to approach this level. If price is just going to react somewhere from here, go higher and start create, look for those highs being created just a little bit above actually the zone that you want to be looking for the long. That's my recommendation, right? Just a little bit similar to what you have in here. Just look for those highs kind of being created just before price actually gets to the level that maybe you want to look for the sell. It's just something interesting to pay attention to. Okay. Now I kind of could see, okay, we just broke this low, maybe retesting there, and then just feel this move to the downside, and let's see how price behaves in here, if it actually breaks it or not. Could be an option. Let's see. Okay, guys, that's it for this week. I went across all the markets that I'm kind of looking at. Didn't really cover commodities, but it's okay. Gold hasn't been doing anything for the last few weeks either. Oil has been going down. I can still see it going a little bit further down until the 100 level, but it's okay. Let me know in the comments if you got any value from this video, if there was anything that you would like me to cover more into more detail or not. The next live stream is going to be on Tuesday at 6 p.m. If I'm not mistaken. Nothing changes. Yep. And yeah, if you have any charts analysis that you'd like me to review, share them with me. You can share it on Twitter, even on the Messenger or on Facebook as well, a Facebook page. Usually where I share the links for the live streams, you can share them on the comments in there, and I'll be paying attention to. Yeah, that's the main purpose of the Tuesdays live streams. I hope you guys got value from it, and if you watched all of it, thank you so much. Leave me a comment if you did watch it all until the end. Yeah, wishing everyone a great weekend and a great week ahead of trading. Thank you for watching, guys. I will see you next time. Obrigado.